Hey everybody, today I will be looking at a bunk heater on a 2022 Volvo VNL 860. The complaint on this is just the bunk heater or the diesel fuel heater is not working. Our model of diesel fuel heater we use in this truck is a Webasto 2000 STC. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to turn it on. Sometimes a Webasto has its own controller, but in a Volvo it's integrated into this sleeper controller here from the factory. So first of all, to try to turn on the heater, you want to push this menu button until you see the word heat flashing, and then you want to press the on off button and then set. But if you don't do it fast enough, it goes right back to the clock, so you got to be pretty quick about it. So push it till the word heat is flashing, on, set. All right, now the heater is going to try to come on. I want to make sure that this is turned up into the red. Once the bunk heater is activated on this, then this temperature controller becomes the thermostat for your bunk heater. If your bunk heater is off and the truck is running, then this hot cold knob adjusts the temperature of the air coming out of the actual vents over here. So I'm going to give this a minute to fire up. I'm going to get the bunk open and we'll take a look at the heater itself. Okay everybody, the heater is starting up. You may be able to hear it. This one's a little bit loud. It's got a little bit of loud fan motor. But the bunk heater on this model is under this access panel underneath the mattress. It's on the driver's side of the truck. I'll get down here. That right there says Webasto on it. That is the diesel fuel heater. And what this heater does is it takes, there's an exterior pump on the outside of the truck underneath the cab, and a fuel line running into the fuel tank, and it will pump milliliters of fuel up to this heater, and it will pump it into a burner chamber that burns that diesel fuel, gets that burner chamber really hot, and then there's a fan, which you can hear, this one's fairly noisy, that will draw air through this tube, which goes to that vent right there. It will draw air through that vent into the inlet side of the heater. It will then go across that hot burner chamber, and then the fan then puts the air out this side. So it should be warm air coming out of here, and it's not. This heater will run through 2 startup attempts. If it doesn't start on either attempt, then it should throw a fault. And that green light right there, once it throws a fault, they'll show you, it's going to flash me a code of what the problem is. So once this heater faults out, I'll show you what it looks like when it's throwing the code. Okay everybody, I let this heater try to start up. It ran through 2 startup attempts and did not start. So now that light is flashing, and I'll explain how to read the codes. So the slow blinks are the actual code. The fast blinks that you see right there, those are the space between the codes. So if there was multiple codes, you would have, let's see, this has 1 slow blink and then fast blinks. 1 slow blink and then fast blink. So this only has a code 1. If there were multiple codes, there would be like 1 slow blink, multiple fast blinks, and then 7 slow blinks, and then fast blinks, and then back to 1 slow blink. So the slow blinks are your code number, and I'll post a generic list of the codes for the Webasto heater, so that you know which what the problem is if it starts blinking. So this this code 1 is a lack of fuel to the heater. The reason that these heaters only try to start twice is if it doesn't start, it doesn't want to keep pumping fuel into the heater and flood the burner chamber out to where you have a hard time getting it going after you've repaired it. But this one is no start due to, most of the time, due to lack of fuel. So I'm going to show you a couple of the trouble spots to look for. So I'll go outside the truck and check them out. Okay, first of all, I'm going to open this access panel. Kind of hard to do with, pardon my camera work, with only one hand. Alright, so we've got the access panel down. It's right below the driver's door. Right, there's the batteries. Main power switch for the truck, so you can kill all the batteries if you're going to be out of it for an extended period of time. But up over here, it's kind of hard to see. Right up there, that's your fuel pump for the Webasto heater. That black line coming down right along here, that's the fuel line that goes to the pump. That will run down along the frame rail back to the tank. It looks like this connection is good. After I turn the camera off, I'll give it a tug. I can only get one hand in here at a time, so I will verify that sometimes these lines are not quite connected, which will allow them to suck air, which will cause a prime issue and the heater won't run. This line, usually if it gets loose, gravity will take effect and it will fall out. So I'm pretty sure this line's good, but once I put the camera down, I'll give it a little tug just to verify that it is not a loose connection. Okay, that connection was good. So now I'm going to come back here. I followed the fuel line all the way up the frame rail. This right here, underneath this fitting, there's a standpipe that goes all the way to the bottom of the fuel tank so that it will still work even when you're low on fuel. This connection, they like to pull them fairly, there's not a lot of slack. So if this truck's bouncing around, hitting a lot of bumps, and there's not a lot of slack, it'll pull this line right out. And you can see it's a little small line. And we had a loose connection here. It was barely connected. So when we were trying to run that heater, it was just allowing air into the system, so it wouldn't allow the bunk heater to fire up. So in order to fix this, you want to make sure you route it right. Get it back into the zip tie. And then what I'm going to do, I'll have to do it with the camera set down. But you want to get that line into this hose a decent amount, and then tighten this this clamp here. This clamp, it's usually 7mm or a 9/32. So I'll make that repair, and then we'll go start the heater again and see if it starts running and blowing warm air, or if it fails again and has a different problem. All right, everybody, I'm going to turn this on again. Let me remind you, just push this button until you see the word heat flashing, press the on off button, press set. Now the heater is going to come on, it's going to try to start up. It will probably try to start up twice and then start blinking again. At that point I will have to turn it off. You turn it off the same way you turn it on. Off, set. So if that starts blinking a code 1 again, then turn it off and turn it back on, because what you're doing is you're trying to get all the fuel from the tank, from the bottom of the tank, through the fuel line, along the frame rail, up to the fuel pump, and from the fuel pump to the heater itself. So it can take a couple of tries, 2 startup attempts, shut it off, turn it on again. Usually on the 3rd or 4th attempt it will finally fire up. So I'll start this video again once I know it's come back on. Thank you. Alright, so it's ran through a few startup attempts now, and we are getting hot air out of the vent. I can't show you how hot, but I have it all the way in the red here, so it's going to be super duper hot, and it's going to be really hot. Normally the comfortable level, if you were sleeping in this truck, once you get it up and running and it's blowing hot air while it's set to max, you want to turn this down into this range. That's going to be your comfortable range. If you leave it on high all the way up, you won't be able to be in this truck for very long. You'll have to open all of your windows or doors and get out of the truck, because you'll be overheating. These do get super hot. So I'm going to shut this off now that we know it's working. And at a minimum, I hope this video at least helps you know how to turn on and off the heater, because if you've never been in a Volvo before and you're cold and the company has it set up to where the truck won't idle very long and you need to use this heater, you need to know how to turn it on. So I hope this helps. Thanks, guys.